Hello, you are listening to The Professional Artist. I'm Echo Chernick, and we're broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans, simulcast on YouTube and Facebook. Please like, follow, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. I am in Bellingham, which is north of Seattle, Washington, and I am on with Sara Breslin. Sara, where are you? You're in the East
I am
Coast.
I'm in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. That's how Rhode Island. How you doing? So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, surviving the holiday season.
Oh, yeah. You said you were in a gallery and it was crazy nuts today, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's my part-time job, working in a gallery. I love it. But
awesome. Yeah,
boy,
my gallery has been crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Today during the holiday season, oh my God, the shoppers are out there. My gallery's been so busy today too. Yep. We have people playing violins, and we have a luthier in the building, and they are playing music, and there's shoppers everywhere, and it's good. We want shoppers. Yes. Go out, buy things from artists, buy things from real artists. Go shopping.
Yes, we love it. We love it. Shop local.
Lots of holiday fairs going on. So yeah. So what else do you have going on? Tell us about you. Tell us about your art.
Right now with my artwork, I don't have a ton going on this time of year. I kind of it's kind of a lull for me. As far
where
as
can people find you? It's sarabreslin.com, right?
Yep, that's my website. All of my social media handles are Sara Breslin. Super easy.
Sarabreslin.com.
Yes.
I am the worst speller in the world. People know that. Notoriously, I cannot spell to save my life. So, yes, sarabreslin.com. So, anyway, are they all on the website? Blue Sky and all that?
So my main focus for social media is mostly just like TikTok and Instagram, soon to be just Instagram. Yikes. But I will probably branch out to Blue Sky. I haven't tried yet, but I am.
Oh, Blue Sky's awesome. Yeah, you should go to Blue Sky. It's been blowing up like crazy, and a lot of artists are on there, and the sofa group's on there, and it's actually been really good. I've been impressed. Nice. I posted like a nude piece on there of mine, and I marked it as nude, like adults, and it got like downgraded to not being adult content, and I was like, what?
Oh,
it was like marked by Blue Sky as not being adult content. I was like, that was different, because normally it's like the opposite. Normally it's like, oh, this is marked as porn. Oh, you've been blocked. Oh, dirty. And I was like, wait, this was downgraded as being artistic nudity and not adult content. How
cool.
Early. I was like,
cool.
I feel so warm and I feel so warm and fuzzy, and that was so nice. I feel like somebody handed me a nice hot chocolate. I was like, oh, you like my art? Thank you, Blue Sky. Oh, I feel so welcome. Right. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with that. I was really pleased with Blue Sky so far. It's been really friendly. So
great. All right, I feel sold on that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of friendly art, like art shares going on, where people post up like 4 pieces, and they'll post them like in a color. Like you have like your Medusa piece gun in the background of the YouTube video here. They'll post 4 green pieces or 4 pieces with snakes, and they'll be like, hey everyone, post your pieces with snakes. And someone also posts pieces with snakes, and then someone also posts like a dragon, 4 dragons, and it'll kind of like, go from there, and then the followers will grow and stuff. So it's just like fun game. All the artists are playing and stuff.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, but I definitely noticed there's been a divide between the artists and the AI artists, where artists are like, I'm not following AI artists, so don't even try. And then the AI artists are, it's dividing. So that's been interesting. So
yeah.
So anyway. Yeah. So anyway, so go on. So what else is going on with you? You doing any shows?
So as of right now, I don't have any shows lined up. I'm looking to line up shows for the new year. If you join my mailing list, you can find out all the shows that I will be doing when I'm doing them. So yeah.
I saw you posted them on your website. You're so much better than me. I want to post them on my website. I mean to post them on my website.
I try my best, But
so do you have regular ones you do like every year? Do you have like
so the ones that I will definitely be doing this coming year is going to be Boston Pride and Providence Pride. I'll definitely be doing those in June. Those are the 2 big events I do each year. And probably Middletown, Connecticut for all my East Coast people. Probably be doing that. June is my busy month. So yeah.
Cool.
And then I'm sure I'll have a ton of gallery shows sprinkled in throughout the year and things like that. Just gotta line them up and get them going.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of gallery stuff?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, this year I did a really big transition. I used to do mostly only vending, so going to pop-ups, craft shows, art fairs, things like that. And this year I transitioned out of doing that and more focused on gallery work.
Really?
Yeah, and it has been really nice and kind of scary, for full transparency. It was definitely a hard decision to make, but my body is thankful and my brain is thankful because I get to create more and not have 12-hour days out in the cold and things like that. So but yeah, it's been interesting.
It's scary though, because you have like one big piece to sell instead of a lot of little pieces to sell.
Yeah, and that's always been something that has been a bit terrifying. But I found in the past couple of years, I have a really hard time keeping my originals. Like I can't keep up. They sell and I don't have time to make them because I'm busy at markets trying to sell them. So it's been nice to actually make larger pieces, like the Medusa piece in the background. That's the biggest painting I've made in a few years. It's a 16 by 20.
Wow.
And I want to go bigger and bigger. That's always been my goal. So I'm really transitioning from more of an illustrator's mindset. I'm transitioning more into a fine art mindset. So,
very cool.
So
do they sell before you can finish them?
Sometimes that does happen.
That's good.
I don't post many progress shots for that reason, because it's happened to me enough times. It's a good problem to have. But
it's good, but it's hard to show in the gallery if they are already sold, because the gallery wants them to not be sold.
Yes. Yeah, the galleries do not like showing sold work. Fun fact.
Yeah, because they want to have their cut. Galleries usually take a percentage of whatever you're selling. So
yes.
And,
so yeah, we're trudging along. We're making work. I'm starting my new solo. I'm hoping to do a solo show in the next coming 2 years with my new series, I See a Monster, which is featuring all women from history and lore who have been depicted as monsters. And my Medusa painting in the background is what kicked it off. So I'm really excited about doing that.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So hopefully you take really good shots of each of these before you sell them, so that you're going to put a book together.
Yes, that is the goal, is to take professional photography of all the all the paintings, so that I could possibly make an art book. Because I also really like writing. So
yes, and then if people are on the mailing list, they can know about the Kickstarter when you do a book.
Exactly.
So yay! So, and then you were going to talk about making merch. Do you make merchandise of all your things?
Yeah, so that has been one of the best decisions that I have made from the beginning of my career until now, is making essentially all different merch of my work. I have one piece that I actually made in college, my senior year of college. I decided to make a print of it and a sticker, and I made that piece in 2014. And it has
on your website.
It's called Life and Death. It's a pile of skulls with a lily in it. I love skulls.
I see it.
Yeah, and that guy has been my best-selling sticker and my best-selling print since 2014.
Oh, I can see why. Oh, it's pretty.
So, making prints and reproductions of my work in any form has been a really great business decision. So I encourage everyone to do that in some capacity that works for you.
And so how do you make your prints? Do you make them yourself, or do you?
I don't print them myself. I work with a company called Finer Works. They're out in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
They are after doing a bunch of research and working with a few local printers, I was able to work with them. I found that it was really hard to find a printer that would print on watercolor paper for me. And I was very adamant about that from the beginning, that I wanted to print on watercolor paper so it looked like the original.
Yeah.
I wanted really good quality prints, and I got connected with Finer Works, and I've been using them for years, and they're just fantastic. Their pricing is pretty much middle of the road, not too cheap, not too expensive. And their customer service has been fantastic. And their range of products is lovely.
Looks like that's 8 by 10. Do they have a minimum of how many you need to print?
Nope, they can just print one for you.
Oh, cool. Cool. Do you get them matted, or do you deal with matting or not?
I do not deal with matting at
Some
all.
artists deal with matting, some don't. Some choose to mat, some don't. Some that mat say they regret it because matting is a challenge. Some artists buy a mat cutter. I own a mat cutter. I have not used it much because it is just kind of a pain. It is a pain.
It's a lot of measuring.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not a fan of that.
No. Some people swear by it. There's some pretty fancy mat cutters out there.
Sure.
Yeah. Some people mat everything. I don't know. It's a personal choice if you're going to mat your work or if you're not going to mat your work.
Yeah, I tend not to because most of my customers just want to pop it in a frame when they get home.
Yeah.
And I find that it also makes it a little more accessible, which is important to me. So.
Yeah, so you got to make that choice when you're an artist if you're going to mat or if you're not going to mat. You also have to make that choice when you're choosing what size print you're going to make. Like, because especially if you're going to buy pre-made mats, because you can buy pre-made mats. And if you're like going to do a print and it's going to be 8 by 10, you want to, be like, all right, well, what is a pre-made mat size, or what's a pre-made board size, or a big seller of my pieces does it fit in a standard frame size? Because I have a couple that fit in standard frame size and one size that does not fit in a standard frame size at all. And I can a lot of times get people to upgrade because the small size just is a weird size.
I've tried to stick with mostly standard sizes for that reason. I found that it deters people.
Yeah. Me too. Well, my prints are Art Nouveau, and so a lot of them are long and narrow. And we have, and our larger format printer prints 24 inches at the longest size now. And so I can print 12 by 24, which is a standard-ish frame size. And my smaller ones are 11 by 17, which is the next size paper down, which is a standard frame size. But then when I shrink the 12 by 24s down to 17, it's 8.5 by 17. And that does not a standard frame size. So that's the only ones that don't size to the right size.
Yeah, that's tough though, having the elongated pieces.
Yeah, but we suggest people put them just on like a floating frame or something. So, but they go great in narrow spaces, especially in like Rhode Island, where you have those weird old houses with strange narrow doorways and things. Yep,
we do have quite a few of those.
Yeah, but how about stickers? Do you make stickers?
Yep. So I make tons of stickers. I think right now I want to say I have about 15, maybe 20 designs of my stickers. And I use Sticker app for all of those.
Okay.
Yep. I find that their range of material and how creative you can get with the designs, having like the glitter or the glow in the dark or like the clear backgrounds, like it's just really fun. So I use them, and obviously I use like Photoshop equivalent to take out the backgrounds and design them myself around some of my original works that, I like the die cut stickers. I don't like when they're just square. Yeah. So I tend to be a bit creative digitally when I'm composing my stickers and things like that. But they've been great, especially this year. I found that my sticker sales have been through the roof. People really like to be able to spend a little money at your booth or a little money on your website. And they don't always have, 20, 30, 50, hundreds of dollars, but they do have 5.
Yep. They can spend a little bit and support you, but not too much.
So that's been really great.
Yeah. And I actually got some stickers that I just made specifically to promote my art. And so I throw them in with a purchase. So that's
really fun to do.
And then people feel like, they got a bonus. You know, it's like, you know, you add a little extra on top, and people love getting something for free where they feel they got a free thing. Yep. So, yeah. So how about pins? Do you deal with pins at all?
So I don't. I have done pins in the past, and I found that they did not sell as well for me. Mm-hmm. And I never really dove into doing like working with a manufacturer specifically doing the enamel pins. I've done like plastic versions of pins, and they've been fine. I just don't think my customer base necessarily is collecting the pins like some other people are. But I think that they're like pins specifically are really fun if your audience is looking to collect them.
Yeah. No, pins can be fun. I want to do more pins. I'm not great at getting them done. I've gone through wizard pins. Those are good. And I've gone through pins directly, like a couple of the pin places directly, where I've worked with people to design them, and you do glitter pins and stuff. I hate that they send them in little plastic wrappers. I wish they didn't waste all the plastic. Yeah. I don't like putting them in plastic. I prefer to put them like on a backing card. I've gotten actually the best way to get a backing card, I think, is to just order like business cards with art printed on definitely. Them. And then just if you get a hole punch, you can punch a hole in them, and then you have boom, easy backing cards. You don't have to get anything fancy made.
Yeah, that's a great hack. Definitely.
Yeah. You can also get if you go to Michael's, you can get the like big hole punchers or big punchers, paper punchers in like the what do you call it? The scrapbooking section that punch out things in the shapes of hearts and stuff, and you can, you know, punch out cardstock in different shapes. So
what a fun like branding moment.
Yeah, so my daughter, she got one that shaped like a heart, and she just punched out a bunch of hearts in shapes, you know, and then she just punched them out in the shapes of hearts, and so she just has big black hearts, and then put her pins in those, and that was the first ones that she had for backing ones. So that worked.
That's awesome.
You know, I think she also made a lino cut stamp, and that she stamped right on them. So rather than so it was kind of cool. So I know Vograce makes a lot of the acrylic like keychain things that people use.
Yeah.
And there's a secret Discord server that you can apply to go in with a bunch of other artists to get into making a lot of that cool merch that they make. She got in on that and won't tell me the secret. Yeah. She's like, Mom, you're not cool enough. You're too old for that stuff. And I'm like, oh, thanks, kid. All right.
Yeah, I did hear whispers of the secret group when I did Boston Comic-Con last year. So
it's a secret group where all the kids go to make all the cool keychains and shaky bits and all that really neat stuff. So secret stuff. You gotta. But I got a kid that knows this. So
ooh, lucky you.
I have connections. Mm-hmm. She won't tell me how to do it. She's in the group, but she won't tell me. So I have to go through her. So if I want anything made, I'm like, oh, okay, gatekeeper. So, and then she just asked for my card, so I pay for everything. So I'm like, okay, nice. Who's the gatekeeper now, kid? Huh? Mm-hmm. But anyway, but yeah, Vograce is really good for doing those like the acrylic keychains and the washi tapes and all those things.
Yeah, for sure.
So, for as far as merch is concerned, I've gotten a little bit of that stuff.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
And then, but what else merch wise? Oh, I told you, I think I told you, but we weren't on the air yet. I got a sublimation printer, which is really fun too for making my own product. So I've been making ornaments.
I love that. I love that you're doing that.
Ornaments. Yeah. So I got a little one. I think it's an Epson or Canon. I forgot. They have like the Sawgrass like group, and it comes with a whole big package and stuff, but I didn't want to get that because it has like the whole package of stuff. I just wanted to get the printer. I forget which one it was. I think it's an Epson, and it has it's good. It's the actual sublimation one. There is a hack you can use to turn a regular printer into a sublimation printer as well. But this is a good one, and it used the sublimation paper, and then it prints it out, and then you get a sublimation press, and we got the not the cheapest one. We got the next one up. It was like $160 or so. I got one that locked down when you close it, not the Cricut when you press down. And so the whole setup cost me, it was like under $1,000. And so that wasn't too bad. That was like kind of my goal was to spend, but not too much, because you can spend thousands of dollars on the sublimation system.
Oh yeah, you can.
And I didn't want to spend too much, but I wanted to, and I didn't get the stuff that makes the tumblers or the mugs or anything, because I wanted to make, I just wanted to make ornaments and, the purses and maybe some pencil bags, just because I have the gift shop here, and I wanted to be able to offer like little retail items to people coming and test it out. And so far I've managed to make really good ornaments and really good purses and really good pencil pouches, and screw up a lot of mouse pads. We just haven't gotten the mouse pads down yet. I don't know. Something about these mouse pads. We just keep ending up with a really light in the middle, and we're just screwing up a lot of mouse pads. So eventually I will conquer these mouse pads.
I believe in you.
But it's cool. What I like about this is you can make one at a time and just kind of feel out what sells, which is good, because when you find, rather than ordering a bunch of designs and getting them from China or whatever, and then having up with all this product of 1,000 pieces of something and not selling it, you can see what people respond to.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely such a pro, that you don't have to like hang on to inventory like that.
It sucks to end up with a lot of stuff. And then not be able to sell it because everyone's like, oh, yeah. And you're like, but this is the coolest thing. And everyone's like, nah. And you're like, but so good. So, but anyway, what else do you make?
So most of my merch, like my bestsellers, are all my prints and my stickers, but I also make notebooks. I make coloring books. I've made limited edition embroidered hats for merch, which was really fun to do. Do greeting cards, postcards, like all that kind of stuff. Not all of it is listed on my website, because a lot of it is since sold, like the hats and things like that. But I've done a lot of different things. I've also made puzzles out of my artwork, which was really fun to do. I made like a very limited run. Cool. Like medium-size-ish puzzles. I think they were like 300 pieces, something like that.
Where'd you do that through?
Finerworks. They do puzzles there too. Like their range of products they make, it's pretty good. Some of it, I will say, the prices aren't so good for like the margins, the wholesale prices, things like that. So pick and choose, but they do a lot of stuff there, and it's pretty neat.
And the quality was really good.
Yeah, like I'm always impressed with the quality and the customer service. Like
you can make puzzles with a sublimation printer, but I haven't done that yet. So yeah,
it's just fun. I don't know. I've always loved puzzles, but like during COVID, I got into puzzles.
Yeah.
And so then it just kind of it sparked my interest. I was like, oh, maybe people will buy a puzzle with my art on it.
Cool.
And they did.
Cool. I had my art license for puzzles a while ago, and that was really neat.
Yeah.
So it's neat to see your stuff on the shelves with puzzles on, in a puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool. So, but it's just neat to be able to make your own stuff nowadays. It's not something you did like, I don't know, 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like things are so much more accessible. You can do so much more with your artwork, and it's from a business perspective, it's wonderful. It is so good to put so many pictures on so many things and then sell them.
Yeah, which is really neat. So people can get unique items that you couldn't get before.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go look, I got this one-of-a-kind item I got directly from the artist. So
exactly.
So it's really neat. So, but I'm going to a craft fair tomorrow. There's at the mall. They're having it's for you have to be under 15 years old. It's between 2 to 4. It's like for young crafters. And I was like, I'm going to go to that. And you have to spend, they can only sell things that are less than $5, and it's cash only. And you have to be 15 and under. And I'm like,
that's neat.
Don't underestimate like the stuff that 15-year-olds can make. So
seriously, yeah.
I'm like interested to go. I'm going to go gather up my dollar bills and, go down there and check it out. It's only 2 hours. And I'm like, go see what these kids can make, because they're pretty impressive. They have, especially in the mall, they have what's called the Maker's Place, and they have, which is a really cool place. I don't know if you have any of those in your area, but the Maker's Space, or whatever it's called, Maker's Space, you can go there, and it's just you can rent out. They have all these equipments you can rent. You can rent out tools, all kinds of tools there. Like they train you to use where you. They have 3D printers, and they have where you can cut the acrylic, and they can do like all kinds of stuff to make stuff. I mean, you can make, so if you wanted to use a 3D printer, or if you want to weld stuff, or you want to do crafty things, I mean, they've like everything there, which is cool. So if any of these kids are using any of that stuff, they're going to have some pretty cool stuff there. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I'm sure we have something like that here, but that sounds super cool.
I probably have sublimation there too. I mean, I'm sure they do, because they have all this, just all the cool technology. So rather than having to buy a 3D printer or a sublimation printer or any of that stuff, and welder, I forget what else they have, but they have like all the cool like tech toys. And you just go, and it's a membership. So it's like, you just join, and you can join with your parent, and they make you take like a quick class to learn to use it. So you don't like, cut your arm off or something. And, and you go and you just can make stuff. It's like a shop, but I think they have wood burning, and and they teach you to make wood burning like ornaments and stuff. And it's the coolest place. It's right in the mall. So I'm sure they have other ones around the country too. So similar things. I don't think it's a unique concept. So, but it's a great thing to do with teenagers. So I'm like interested to see if some of these kids are using that space, because, I don't know. So I would have been all over that.
Yeah, definitely. God, right now, like, I would love to go play with a 3D printer right now. Yeah, that would be so cool.
You can make the coolest thing with 3D printers. So where did you get your start in art?
So like every artist, I've been painting since I was a kid. I got my real start in college. So my college story is a little funny. I did not start within the art major when I went. I started pre-med. I was determined to make my parents incredibly proud and become a doctor. I have since worked on my people pleasing. I took an art class that I needed to take for my major for the credits, and my art teacher at the time told me what a shame it was that I was so talented and doing nothing with it. And that caused a crisis within me. And so I eventually, after a year, changed my major. And my parents, they cried. I decided to go for my fine art degree, and I got my BFA in 2014. And I have been working on and off full-time and part-time as a professional artist since then. And it's been one heck of a journey. I will say that. But I love it, and I wouldn't change it. I kind of can't believe I thought that I was going to be a doctor when I absolutely sucked at chemistry. That was a very funny delusion I had going. I was happy for myself, though. So, yeah. That's where I got my start. And I've been just trudging along ever since.
Cool. Yeah. And now, things are changing in the market a little bit. So you're adapting and heading more into the fine art gallery field.
Yep. Yeah, I want to paint bigger and more expensive. So that's kind of the trajectory that I'm heading into, and making more work that I feel like aligns with what I want to do. Things like that. I still will, make merch. I think it's such an important part of my business. But I will say one of the mistakes that I feel like I've made with my merch is not making more things limited edition. I have noticed in the past couple of years, especially this year, everybody kind of already has all of the prints that I'm selling. I need to make space for new things. So creating limited editions would have been and will be a really great thing for me to do more often.
Okay.
So I will say that that's a big takeaway from this year for me.
Do you ever retire any of your old pieces or?
Yeah. So I've retired a few over the years, but this coming year in 2025, I will be retiring almost everything I have in my catalog right now.
Whoa. So if you want to buy it, get on it.
Yep. I am revamping everything. I am going to be doing larger format prints, different style merch. I want to start doing some more clothing merch with my work on it. And I'm going to be hopefully making some really neat limited edition screen prints of my pieces.
Ooh,
select
cool.
pieces. Yeah, I'm really excited to try that out and work with a local printer doing that. So yeah, we're
awesome.
We're changing. We are moving and grooving and just gonna change with the times, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Be fine.
It'll be fine. And there's like a lot of stuff going on that's forcing people to change their direction, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just need to kind of just change the direction of things. So it'll be good. So yeah.
So. It forces us to do new things, and new doesn't mean bad.
No.
So that's what I'm focusing on.
Have you always worked traditionally, or?
Yes. Okay. I am a die-hard traditional girly.
That's good. See, I started off traditionally, and then because I do so much commercial work, I switched over to digital and did that for many years because when you're doing commercial work, you have to make so many changes in, and it makes sense to work digital because they're like, oh, this looks great. Can you just like make her blonde? Oh, yeah, and turn it in, and by the end of the day, it makes sense to work digital. So you have to make, it has to be adjusted to go on a package design and on a billboard and this and stuff. And so now I'm like, I should go back to traditional, but it's, I do traditional, but it's hard because I've worked digital for so long.
Yeah.
So, but
I do digital sometimes. I don't really do it in a professional capacity. I do it more in like a fun doodle fan art in my sweatpants on the couch.
Yeah.
But it's different. I'm sure a lot of other artists feel this way too. It's it's not the same as holding a paintbrush or putting the pencil to the paper. I've never been able to get over that. Of all the years that I've done digital art on and off, I could never get over that hump with it.
Yeah, and I understand. See, I'm comfortable working both ways. I like oil painting, and working digitally to me doesn't feel that. If it's just different. It doesn't feel. It's like cake and cookies. It feels. They're both. Yeah. I like them both. Yeah, I like cake. I like cookies.
I like that.
I like cake. I like cookies. I like them both. They're just different. So I enjoy both of them. I don't know. They're just different. And I like pen and ink. I've always liked pen and ink. But sometimes I'll do my sketches on the computer, and then I'll do my inks finish. By pen and ink. So I wish I had more.
I do all of my sketching digitally.
Oh, really?
So like I'll sketch in my little notebook pencil, just to come up with rough ideas. But when I'm actually doing planning the painting, I create it completely all digitally first. I pick out the colors. I pre-mix most of my colors when I'm working in acrylic. Like I am very process oriented. I will say. So.
See, I love doing my sketching with pencil and vellum, like my initial concepting stuff.
Yeah.
I do better if I do that actually with pencil on vellum. And then I go from there to doing the drawing digitally. Then I go back to the pen and ink sometimes, or depends where I'm going.
Yeah,
back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So, So But yeah, just kind of, like them both.
Yeah.
But I would like to be able to, I guess I wish I could take like 6 months off and just work, just do drawings by hand and not have to do commercial work. That would be great.
Yeah.
So, that would be just to kind of get together a nice traditional portfolio again. I wanted to do that for years, but I'm just too busy.
Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's hard to make the kind of time to sit down and do work.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm lucky if I can finish a painting in a month.
Oh yeah, it takes so long.
Yeah.
So, and especially if you don't have a buyer for it that's paying for that time. So I wish I had the time to do it. So
yeah.
But especially nowadays when things are kind of weird. So
things are kind of weird.
Things are weird. Things are kind of weird right now, but we were talking about that before we got on here about the podcast and with how the industry is a little bit strange right now with AI and everything. We were delving into that a little bit. So, and how we are all having to adapt and figure out how to navigate these new and interesting times. Sounds like you're adapting good though.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to see what works, see what sticks, and
that's kind of why I started this podcast, so we could all talk about how we're adapting and how we're figuring out how to make it work. Some people on the thread this morning were talking about how AI is killing artists and how no one's going to be able to make a living at art anymore. And I don't believe that. I think it's definitely difficult, but I think we just need to kind of work the problem. I mean, it's that's why we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it and figure out how to work the problem.
I'm hoping that this whole AI trend, how do I put it? Like, not forces, but encourages people to find handmade human-made art so much more appealing, and boost that.
That's what happened during the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution led to the arts and crafts movement. So, theoretically, that should happen.
History does love to repeat. So
yeah, unfortunately, people can't tell the difference between AI and human-made, and it is very damaging to an artist's psyche and soul because we work so hard. Like on the coloring book I was working on, people can't tell the difference between something I spent day on and something that AI whipped out in 10 seconds, and they don't know the difference. And it's very painful to an artist when they're like, I worked days on that, and they're like, that's AI, it took seconds, and they're like, no, it did not indeed take seconds. That's taken my whole career to develop that skill. And you're like, an AI can whip it out in 2 seconds, and you're like, well, it looks like AI. You know why it looks like AI? Because AI trained on my art, and that's why it looks like AI. It looks like that because it learned from me, and it took me 30 years to learn to do that. So that's, and it's just, it's painful. It's just painful.
And I know it's hard. And like, I just saw somebody doing a review on a coloring book, just because you've mentioned that. Michaels put out a bunch of coloring books that were AI designed, and the illustrations are just odd.
Yes.
Is that the romantic one?
Is that the romanticy one?
Yes.
It's
so weird.
Yeah. There's a thing going on because that one is the other romanticy one. I did a romanticy one for another company where I worked my butt off for a couple months on it. And it's not that one. It's a different one. And people are like, oh, it's AI. And I'm like, no, it's not. I worked for months on it. And but that one is AI. That one's AI. And then they whipped that out in no time. And that's out in Michael's. And people are like looking at mine and they're like, oh, it's AI. And I'm like, it's not. And then they're, asking me, I haven't even had a chance to defend myself against it. And they ask me questions about it. And I have to go on and talk about that later today. And I was talking to you about it earlier. Like they're just nitpicking every little thing about it. And like there's this one part with the foot that maybe wasn't drawn perfectly, but I had posted up like the 3 drawings that I did beforehand. They're like, well, these drawings are better. And I'm like, well, these drawings are better because those are the drawings that I wanted to use, but the client wanted something very specific. And so I drew what they wanted, and they'd wanted these boots, and they were weird boots, and I drew what they wanted, and they were really happy. And then they got moved around a whole bunch, and we were really short on time, and they ended up looking a little bit strange because our time was very short, and they didn't look great. But that wasn't really,
feet are weird.
Sometimes feet are weird, and you're out of time, and you've been working on it for 4 months straight, and you're just out of time, and it doesn't look great. And and that's what happens when you're an illustrator. You're working with a client, and that's just how it goes. And no, it doesn't mean it's AI. It just means that sometimes you're not, it just doesn't always go, you end up with the one the client wants. Which is fine, as long as they're happy. That's all that matters. And but yet I have to defend myself. I have to go on later and defend. But it's defeating because this one that Michaels puts out, I don't even know how long it took them to develop all these pages. I just know that I worked so hard on that, and it was oh God, it took so long. Oh, it felt like it took forever. Oh, it was so much work. And it took forever. But also, if you go through them, you can tell which ones I concepted and which ones they concepted. They're not all my favorite pieces because that's how illustration works.
Yep. That is client-based work. Not always going to be your favorite.
You could see that's my daughter went through and she's like, oh, you did that one. You did that one. That's not your work. Oh, you did that one. You did that. You didn't come up with that one, did you? And I'm like, no. And but the client was happy. Again, that's when you're working with a client and you're an illustrator, not all of them are going to be your idea, and not all of them are going to be pieces you're like proud of. I mean, then you should be a fine artist if you don't.
Most of your clients probably didn't go to art school. They probably don't have 30 plus years of knowledge on design. So most likely they're not going to design something aesthetically pleasing. That's why they hire you. But listen to the client.
If you drew what they wanted, then they're happy. Then you've done your job.
Yep.
But then they left the other half up to me, and I came up with what I would do, and they love that even better. So, that's great. But you can see which ones I did because I have an aesthetic that I would do, and you can see that in the pieces. And then and if you go through the book, it's funny. You could see the ones that I would do as an artist, but ultimately the client's happy. But it kills me when they accuse me of AI, and I'm just like, no. And then people are like, well, but you went and you traced some of these pieces. And I was like, no. I shot my own reference. And then I did work over my own reference. But first of all, it's my reference. And I was in an incredibly short period of time. And yes, I worked right over my own reference. But that's not illegal. That is okay to do, especially when you're
super normal. That is such a super normal art practice.
It is super normal. And it's my own reference. I didn't download pictures from a magazine. I mean, it's my reference I shot. I can do that. I can take my own pictures and I can draw right over them. That's okay.
Yes.
Taking pictures from a magazine and drawing over them, not okay. Yeah. Buying reference from Shutterstock, that's okay. It depends. It depends where you get your reference. That is okay.
Exactly.
But can you trace? Honestly, if it's your own reference, that's okay. Now, was I tracing? No, I was following it closely, but that was not tracing. I was following it closely, but you can't trace, not if you know how to draw. Because if you trace, it's not going to look right because the camera always distorts things, and you can tell if you trace. And you've traced things, it doesn't look right. You have to know how to draw. But you can follow it pretty closely.
Yeah, that's where the drawing skill comes in.
Yeah, because you have to change things because the camera will always distort. You have camera distortion and it doesn't work right. A lot of times what I do is I take the reference and I adjust for the camera distortion. So I automatically could just follow it pretty closely because I've already adjusted for it when I just adjusted the photo.
Yep.
So, and in this case, I was so short on time. I just basically, it saves me so much time to do that ahead of time in my prep work. And then I just go, woo, and I follow my reference that I've already prepared, that I don't have to do a lot of work. And it's just easy. And I can do it in front of the television and I'm good. And I'm done.
Yeah. Working efficiently is important.
Yeah, especially when there's so many pieces to do and so little time.
Yeah.
But again, it depends where you get your reference. Never would I to work on a photograph I grabbed from somewhere like a magazine like that, because that's just that's someone else's work. That's different. So, but
true.
Yeah. How about you? Where do you get your reference from?
So a lot of times I get my references from either myself, like I'll do like my own poses and things like that. People that I know. I have hired models before to do a little bit of work with me, and take some reference photos from them. And then sometimes just like the free stock, the reference stock images like online that people do, especially for some odd poses and things like that. But
there's some great ones. ArtStation has some really good packs you can get.
Yeah.
Cube Brush has some really good packs now too.
Yeah.
Brush, so you can get those there.
Yeah.
And you could buy those. They're not very much.
Yep.
They have good reference packs. I've shot my own reference from years ago because that's where I started, because those weren't available when I first started. So I've just gotten used to shooting my own reference. From I have big file boxes of stuff that I shot with my camera before digital photography. How old am I? So I used to develop it in my black and white in my dark room in my closet.
Yeah.
So still use those sometimes.
Sitting here looking at the Medusa piece, like I use my hand for the reference.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't unsee my own hand.
Oh yeah, I know.
So that happens, yeah.
Do you have that ring? Do you actually have that ring?
Yeah, I actually have.
You're wearing it.
Ring. Yeah.
You're wearing the eyeball ring. I know. That's a tax write-off. If you actually have the receipt for that, you can now write that off. You can write it. If it's in the art piece, you can write it off.
Yep. All right.
Maybe not if it's like a Hope diamond or something, but for the eyeball ring, it's in the art piece. Write it off.
Right. Yeah, it's part of the business.
Yes, it is. It's costuming. So if you got those snakes in your hair too, you can write the snakes off. So keep that in mind when you're buying costume jewelry. You can write those suckers off. So,
True.
So next time you buy an eyeball ring. Yeah, you gotta think smart.
You do, yeah.
So,
we gotta make stuff, but also we're running a business.
Yeah.
You business savvy.
Yeah, that eyeball ring. Yeah. Right there. It's right there now. So anyway, we're almost out of time. So do you have anything else you want to share?
No, other than, where to find me. Sara Breslin on Instagram, sarabreslin.com.
SaraBreslin.com. I almost got that right.
Close.
So close. One of these days, I'll get my spelling right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where you can find me, posting all my pretty pictures of all these very beautiful spooky ladies.
Which are you're gonna retire everything and introduce all your new stuff. So I guess people should jump on buying the other stuff.
Yeah, I would encourage it.
Because especially the one you're gonna retire, the one with the skulls, your big seller.
Mm-hmm.
Better get on that one.
Yep, I'm pretty much retiring every single thing in 2025, and we're starting fresh. And it's gonna be so cool. So much new stuff.
So cool. It's gonna be so cool. You said you're not doing your TikTok anymore.
Yeah, because of the TikTok ban that's coming up in January.
I didn't hear about that. Wait, tell me about that.
Yeah.
Keep up with everything. What's the TikTok ban? I'm sorry. I was busy on the other part of the internet defending myself against the AI thing. What's going on?
So,
my teenager has not told me about the TikTok ban. What's going on with the TikTok ban?
I'm surprised he hasn't. So
that's probably what she called about.
The government is banning TikTok because the company that owns TikTok is also owned by, I guess, an overbranching Chinese company. So the Chinese government has access to all of our information, algorithm, things like that. location, IP addresses, all the fun stuff.
Oh.
And so due to classified information that the government won't tell us about, they decided to ban it, and it goes into effect, I think, on the 21st of January. And I'm not 100% sure what that actually means, but I'm sure there'll be some flailing on the app and some other weird things. It's only being banned in the US. Everyone else still has access to it. But I don't know, that's the dirty details. So we'll see what happens.
Well, then I have to keep an eye on that. So it's going to shift to somewhere else or something. So
yeah, I mean, people have been talking about shifting to, doing more reels on Instagram. And I can't remember. YouTube has their own version of shorts, right? People talk about using that more. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, people make a lot of money on TikTok, so.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's probably when my phone rang halfway through this. That was probably my kid calling to tell me about that.
Oh, so, maybe.
She just had a thing go viral on TikTok, so she's probably calling me all upset. It's like, but oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, the world is so interesting that we live in right now. It's just
weird times.
Never
weird times.
Interesting times in the Chinese proverb sort of way. So anyway, but keep making art. Do not give up. We just have to kind of keep, just keep working with it and keep communicating. We'll get through it. It'll just change. We just have to kind of adapt and figure out how to get it to work. I don't think artists cannot stop making art. It's just not in our nature.
Yeah, I don't think so. Even if you're just doing it for yourself, doodles, or I don't know, making clothes, or there's so many ways to be creative.
We just have to figure out how to make a living at it and not let it get us down. I mean, it really, I think it's very disheartening to a lot of artists. I know it's very incredibly painful. It's really disheartening. And we just have to figure out how to support each other on that. So if you feel, if you're feeling down about it, just go on to one of the forums and talk to other artists about it and get a little bit of support. Because I know once in a while I just got to go on and just, bitch, and people are all like super supportive. So
yeah, I mean, we have great pockets of community.
Yeah. So go find one of those pockets and go talk to other artists about it and, get some support, and it'll even out. And I think it's, get yourself on Blue Sky. All right.
Yes, I'm going to.
Get on there and friend me, and I'll see you on there. So,
okay.
So, all right. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and I will see you next week. And thank you again. Thank you for listening to Professional Artists, and talk to you guys next week. And take care and keep arting.